First contact fallout. The holographic displays in Commander Lyra Chen's office bathed the room in a soft blue glow, illuminating her drawn face as she studied the transmission for the 100th time. 20 years of silence. Then this, a fragmented message, distorted by distance and time, but unmistakably from the Scrutiny Fleet. Humanity had launched the Scrutiny Fleet 50 years ago, a daring project comprising 7 massive ships equipped with advanced stealth technology. Their mission? To observe alien civilizations from afar, gathering intelligence without interference. For 30 years, the fleet had sent regular transmissions home, data, observations, discoveries that had revolutionized humanity's understanding of the cosmos. Then, abruptly, the transmissions stopped. No distress signals, no warnings, just silence. Until now. Lyra ran her fingers through her short black hair, pausing the playback at the only coherent segment. They collect more than just data. They collect us. If you receive this, don't come. Repeat, don't. The rest dissolved into static. A knock at her door broke her concentration. Admiral Hassan entered without waiting for a response, his weathered face grim. "The Security Council wants answers," he said, his voice low. "They're assembling a team. Your team." Lyra's stomach tightened. "Sir, with all due respect, I'm an analyst, not a field commander. I haven't been on a ship since the Europa incident." "I know." Hassan's expression softened. "But you're the foremost expert on the Scrutiny Fleet. You helped design their communication protocols. If anyone can figure out what happened, it's you." 3 days later, Lyra stood in the docking bay of the EDF Resilience, watching the final preparations. The ship was smaller than she expected, sleek and built for speed rather than comfort. Perfect for a reconnaissance mission to the coordinates embedded in the mysterious transmission. Dr. Maya Okafor approached, her tall frame moving with the practiced grace of someone who had spent years in variable gravity. As the team's xenobiologist, she carried the responsibility of interpreting any alien biology they might encounter. "Having second thoughts, Commander?" Maya asked, her Nigerian accent lending a musical quality to her words. "Several dozen," Lyra admitted, "but curiosity outweighs caution. The hallmark of our species," Maya said with a slight smile. "For better or worse." The crew was small, just 8 specialists chosen for their expertise. Besides Lyra and Maya, there was Captain Tenzin, a veteran pilot, Security Chief Alvarez, Communications Officer Park, Engineers Novak and Singh, and Dr. Reeves, the team psychologist whose presence was standard protocol for deep space missions. As the Resilience broke Earth orbit, Lyra addressed the assembled crew in the mess hall. "We're heading to coordinates in a previously unexplored sector. The journey will take 17 days at maximum FTL. Our mission is simple: locate the source of the transmission, gather intelligence, and return. We are not to engage with any potential alien life forms. We observe, we document, we retreat." She didn't mention the warning in the message, "Don't come." The Council had classified that portion, deeming it potentially demoralizing. Only Lyra and Captain Tenzin knew the full contents. The first week passed uneventfully. Lyra spent most of her time analyzing the transmission, searching for hidden data, patterns, anything that might provide context for the cryptic warning. "You're obsessing," Dr. Reeves commented on day 9, sliding into the seat across from her in the mess hall. His kind eyes belied his direct approach. "It's my job to obsess," Lyra replied, not looking up from her tablet. "Your job is to lead this mission," Reeves countered. "You can't do that effectively if you don't rest." Lyra finally met his gaze. "Something happened out there, Doctor. Something that silenced 7 of our most advanced ships and their crews. I'd rather not walk in blind." "None of us want that," Reeves agreed. "But exhaustion won't sharpen your vision." On day 15, the anomalies began. Minor at first, fluctuations in the ship's power systems, unexplained temperature drops in certain sections, communications glitches, Engineer Singh dismissed them as standard quirks of deep space travel. But Lyra wasn't convinced. The scrutiny fleet had reported similar anomalies in their early logs before the transmission stopped. "We're being scanned," she announced during the daily briefing. Orr observed. Captain Tenzin frowned. "Our sensors detect nothing, Commander." "The scrutiny fleet had more advanced sensors than we do," Lyra reminded him. "And they still didn't detect whatever found them until it was too late." Security Chief Alvarez leaned forward. "You think something's stalking us? I think we need to be prepared for anything." The anomalies intensify as they approached their destination. Crew members reported hearing whispers in empty corridors. Equipment would power down and restart without explanation. During one particularly unsettling incident, Communications Officer Park swore she saw her reflection move independently in her mirror. Dr. Reeves attributed these incidents to deep space psychosis, a well-documented phenomenon where isolation and the vastness of space played tricks on the human mind. Lyra wasn't so sure. On day 17 they arrived. "What is that?" Maya breathed, staring at the main view screen. Before them floated what appeared to be a graveyard of ships, fragments of vessels, some clearly human in design, others utterly alien, all suspended in a slow orbit around a central point of empty space. And there, barely visible among the debris, was the unmistakable silhouette of the Vigilance, the Scrutiny Fleet's flagship. "Life signs?" Lyra asked. "None," Park replied. "But there's something else. Energy readings unlike anything in our database. The debris field is in an artificially maintained orbit," Engineer Novak added. "Something's holding it in place." Lyra studied the scene, a sense of dread building in her chest. "Prepare a boarding party. We'll investigate the Vigilance." The team consisted of Lyra, Alvarez, Singh, and Maya. As their shuttle approached the derelict flagship, Lyra couldn't shake the feeling they were making a terrible mistake. The Vigilance's docking bay opened without resistance, as if welcoming them home. Inside, emergency lighting cast eerie shadows across the abandoned hangar. The air was thin but breathable, the life support systems somehow still functioning after 20 years. "Power readings are minimal," Singh reported, consulting her scanner, "but consistent throughout the ship." "How is that possible?" Alvarez asked. "The reactor should have failed years ago without maintenance." "Maybe someone's been maintaining it," Lyra suggested, the implication hanging heavy in the air. They moved through the ship's corridors, their footsteps echoing in the silence. The Vigilance showed no signs of battle damage, no evidence of conflict. Personal belongings remained in crew quarters. Meals sat untouched in the mess hall, preserved by the cold of space. "It's like everyone just vanished," Maya said, examining a lab station where experiments sat half completed. In the ship's command center, they found their first real clue. The main computer was operational, its screens displaying a star map with a blinking point marked Origin. "Can you access the logs?" Lyra asked Singh. The engineer worked the console with practiced efficiency. "Most are corrupted, but I'm retrieving what I can." The logs painted a disturbing picture. The Scrutiny Fleet had discovered an ancient alien outpost orbiting a dying star. Initial scans revealed technology far beyond human understanding. Against protocol, they had approached for closer study. That's when the encounters began. Lyra read from the captain's log. Crew members reporting visions, voices. "At first, we thought it was psychological, the stress of deep space. Then we realized they weren't hallucinating. They were being contacted." The final logs described entities that could manipulate perception itself, creatures that existed partially outside normal spacetime. They had been drawn to the fleet's observations, curious about these beings who sought knowledge. But their curiosity was predatory. "They don't understand death as we do," the fleet's science officer had written. "They see our consciousness as data to be collected, stored, experienced. They're building a library of minds." The last entry was from the fleet's admiral. The same message they had partially received on Earth. They collect more than just data. They collect us. If you receive this, don't come. Repeat, don't follow. Earth must be warned. The collectors must not find our homeworld. This is our final transmission. Scrutiny fleet out. Alvarez's communicator crackled to life. Commander, you need to return to the Resilience immediately. Captain Tenzin's voice was tense, controlled panic evident beneath his professional demeanor. What's happening? Lyra demanded. Something's on board. The crew. They're seeing things. People who aren't there. And Officer Park just disappeared from a sealed room. Lyra's blood ran cold. Get back to the shuttle, she ordered her team. Now. They raced through the corridors, the emergency lights flickering wildly around them. As they reached the hangar, Singh stopped abruptly, staring at an empty corner. Rashid, she whispered. That's impossible. You died on Mars. Singh, there's nothing there. Alvarez grabbed her arm, but she pulled away. He's right there. Can't you see him? Singh took a step toward the empty space, her hand outstretched. And then, before their eyes, she simply ceased to exist, not disintegrated, not transported, but erased, as if she had been removed from reality itself. Maya screamed. Alvarez drew his weapon, firing uselessly at the empty air where Singh had stood. Lyra grabbed them both, dragging them toward the shuttle. They're here, she gasped. The collectors. They followed us from the Vigilance. As they fled back to the Resilience, Lyra watched the graveyard of ships through the shuttle viewport, understanding dawning with horrible clarity. This wasn't just a debris field. It was a feeding ground. And they had just rung the dinner bell. The human variable. Chaos greeted them aboard the Resilience. The remaining crew huddled in the mess hall, wide-eyed and trembling. Dr. Reeves moved among them, administering sedatives to the most hysterical. Besides Singh, 2 more crew members had vanished, Engineer Novak and one of the junior officers. They're targeting us one by one. Captain Tenzin said, his usual composure frayed. We've tried to leave, but the engines won't respond. It's like we're caught in some kind of stasis field. Lyra shared what they had discovered on the Vigilance. These entities, the collectors, they don't see us as life forms to communicate with. We're data repositories to them, experiences to be archived. How do we fight something that can erase people from existence? Alvarez demanded. Maya, who had been quiet since their return, finally spoke. We can't fight them conventionally, but we might be able to use their nature against them. All eyes turned to her. The logs mentioned that they're collecting consciousness, experiences, memories, knowledge, she continued. What if that's not just predation, but communication? What if it's the only way they know to understand us? Dr. Reeves nodded slowly. They're studying us, like we studied other species. With one critical difference, Lyra added, we observed without interfering. They collect. A cold realization settled in her chest. The Scrutiny Fleet's mission, to observe alien civilizations without being detected, had drawn the attention of something that collected observers, the ultimate predator for those who watched from shadows. Can we communicate with them? Tenzin asked. Explain that we're sentient beings, not just data. I don't think they fail to recognize our sentience, Maya said. I think they value it. That's why they collect it. Over the next hours, as the crew barricaded themselves in the central sections of the ship, Lyra and Maya pored over the data recovered from the Vigilance. The collectors had originally been encountered by another spacefaring species thousands of years earlier, according to fragmentary records. That civilization had developed a defense, a way to make themselves indigestible to the collectors. But the specific method was lost to corrupted data. Meanwhile, the manifestations continued. Crew members reported seeing deceased loved ones, childhood pets, even younger versions of themselves. 3 more disappeared before Lyra implemented a buddy system. No one was to be left alone, under any circumstances. It's the isolated ones they take first, she noted. Maybe they need to separate us, make us vulnerable. In the ship's lab, Maya made a breakthrough. "Look at this brain scan," she said, pointing to data from the Vigilance. This crewman was experiencing a manifestation when the scan was taken. "See these patterns? They indicate decision-making processes, moral choices, emotional responses. They're testing us." Lyra suggested. "Not testing. Sampling." Maya corrected. "I think they're collecting specific types of consciousness, ones that demonstrate complex decision-making, emotional depth, moral reasoning. The things that make us human," Dr. Reeves murmured. Lyra stared at the scan, an idea forming. What if we gave them something they couldn't categorize? Something uniquely human that defies logical collection? "Like what?" Tenzin asked. "Contradiction. Paradox. Humans can hold contradictory beliefs simultaneously. We make irrational choices. We act against our own interests. We sacrifice logic for emotion." Lyra's words came faster as the plan formed. "What if we deliberately create mental patterns they can't interpret?" The plan was risky, bordering on insane. They would use the ship's neural interface system, designed for emergency, but humanity, with its contradictions and paradoxes, might just be the one text that defied complete comprehension.